what's happened. The drug dealers are coming in that way, and not only are they stomping and killing the vegetation and animal life, but they're leaving all the plastic bottles and dead people along the way who can't make it. And that's the other thing that I can't remember if you mentioned or not. I think you did. It's not just drugs that are being trafficked into this country illegally. It's people.
Yeah.
It's people. And not always are these people coming here for a better life or to send money back home. Some of these people are being brought, women are being brought here to be working in houses of prostitution.
And I was going to say, getting to that point, it's certainly not just Mexicans. There's a lot of Asians that come from China, and that's a big deal, especially when you go up into San Francisco and Oakland.
Did you watch the movie Taken?
Yes.
Yeah, that movie will scare you to death, how easy it is for a woman to be taken, drugged up, sold into sex slavery, and never be heard from again.
Yeah.
So these are immigration problems, folks. These are immigration problems. Do you hear anything out of the liberal media about it? Yeah, no, you don't. You don't hear it at all. Oh, yeah, somebody was killed here or there. But you don't get the day in and day out stories of the effects. You get a 15-second blurb with a lot of attitude about a farmer on the border that was killed on his own land. You get more of it, and that's the reason Fox News is gone after so hard. You get more of these stories. Does it sensationalize people? Yes. Does it cause people to get pissed? Yes. But is it the truth? Yeah, it is. But we've got to get more of it out. Now, you're sending money back home to people. Is there anything wrong with that?
Yeah, I don't think that's, the best thing for our economy. I mean,
if I'm a liberal,
it's different if it's something we're importing and exporting, because that's part of our
national
product. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is not. Because a lot of the money they make is under the table.
So they're making money that's not going to be deducted by anybody.
Only people making money are like Western Union or whoever's sending it down there.
All right, they're making money. But if I'm a diehard, not liberal, progressive, if I am a socialist, Marxist, progressive, which I don't think you are, I'm going to say to you, why do you even bring that up? It's such a minute little piece of money. It don't make a damn in the whole scheme of things. Why are you bringing something stupid like that up? That's the argument that you hear when you talk about they're sending money back home. And if you don't have any kids yet, I'm convinced God gives you children so death won't be such a disappointment. I've got plenty of ex-wives. Plenty of their first name. But when, I sit back and I look and I go, okay, if my family didn't have food to eat, and I'm 10 miles from the border of the richest country in the world, am I going to try to go over there and make some money and send it back home? Yes, I am. My only complaint here again is do it through the legal channels. Don't be coming across at night. Let's see, our money's leaving here. A lot of it's leaving here, and it's not so much the illegal immigrants that are working in the fields, and the next liberal that I hear tell me, well, they're just doing the jobs that Americans won't do. I'll be popping them in the mouth.
I'm ready to make a comment about that because, you got plenty of Americans who are willing to do it these days, I guarantee you.
Oh, absolutely. and if that's one of those like, Americans won't do it. Wow. Okay, what's your next argument? It doesn't bother me. I watched 48 Hours, and they had a program on of a girl at the University of Kentucky up here in Lexington. You might have still been here, probably not. Her and her boyfriend went down to where they all go drink beer because there's something going on. Wasn't really.
June or something?
The one that was killed.
I don't remember.
She was stabbed to death, and after the investigation, they find this Mexican illegal immigrant rode the rails, and he was killing people all the way from Florida. up into Ohio and back down through all the way into Texas where they finally found him. And, you know, these are the kind of problems that when you want to allow an illegal immigrant from Mexico to come in because you think in the next election you might get the Hispanic vote by letting them come in, you can't do it.
I understand your perspective on that, but you're still taking one isolated incident. That's just like anybody else. We got crazy people all over the place. And,
okay.
Let's look at the cracks here and there.
The facts are that when you go to, and these are documented, not documentable facts. I'll get that out. Look at the crime rates in the border cities.
Oh, sure.
With Janet Neapolitan telling everybody that we're apprehending more than any other government. That's a great sentence. I appreciate that. So if we have 1,000 immigrants coming over in 1989 and you're getting 10% of them, and now we're getting 15%, but the number coming over is 150,000, not 1,000, you're still falling behind.
Yeah.
And that's the part that they stop clear on. This girl, and this isn't a comment about how she affected the election. The woman that was running for governor against Jerry Brown, and they brought the ex-housekeeper in. You read it?
No.
Okay. They brought her housekeeper in, who made all these false allegations. They found out now about the lady who was trying to be governor, and that's not the story. The story is Janet Neapolitan came on the O'Reilly or Hannity show. Hannity. And he had a direct question to her. Okay? He said, she's illegal. She said, yes, she is. Said she used false documents to get, which is a felony, to get a Social Security card. And he listed 2 or 3 other things. Is she going to be investigated and sent back to Mexico? Ooh, that's a tough question from Ms. Neapolitan. Because the fact man is, she says, we're going to have a rigorous investigation. She had all this rhetoric, and to date, they've not done a thing. Okay, that's just the way it's working now, because the head of any snake is the part that makes the rules. And the head of this snake is Obama, and he is not forcing the issue on immigration. I hope every Mexican who wants to live in this country gets to live in this country. I really do. There's a Mexican crew that put the brick on my house, and those boys were artists. And yes, they sent the money back. And yes, they had a flag on the side of their truck of Mexico. And yes, they were the nicest kids in the world. And where the bricklayers that did one of my neighbor's house got there at 9, took breaks, went to lunch, took them 4 weeks to brick the house. These boys got here at 7. At noon, that truck come back. This guy's out there, had a little Bunsen burner. He was making something to eat. He fed them, and they worked till they couldn't see because of darkness. And yes, they are. These guys are hard workers, but this immigration problem is tough, and people are getting killed, and we're sitting back, and we're not putting force on the border. Everything that's happening right now, whether it's Bush, Obama, Clinton, whoever it is, but right now it happens to be Obama, making a big deal out of, I'm going to send in there all these troops and do all that. Yeah, we're making a big deal about that. So he sends troops to the border. He sends in 25% of what he promised, and within 2 months, half of those were gone. That's the part you're not hearing about. Where's the help? I think one of the biggest patriots in this country is Governor of Arizona,
because she stood up to him. So I don't know. I'm glad to have you on here, because when you start talking, sometimes when people start talking, the lines get so skewed. Oh, you're a liberal. Okay, but are you liberal on everything you think?
No, and that's, when my mom was joking earlier about, oh, he's liberal this and he's liberal that, that really does kind of get to me, because, it kind of depends on how you define a liberal and how you define a conservative, because a lot of people will just say, oh, you vote Republican or blah, 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 that makes you conservative. Well, that's not
so.
No, you don't want big government, you don't want, certain things, and, that's what makes you conservative. Now, however, because of the way the media is on both sides, whenever I think conservative, or a lot of times when I do it, they have, Glenn Beck up there doing his little dog and pony show. And then you have all the other people, the Bible thumpers, come out, and they have their say, and they're waving their sticks at you and saying that you're not living by the word of God, and therefore, you're going to hell and blah, blah, blah. And then on the other side, you have all these, people that I consider to be crazy liberals who, would just think that, you can't go around, you can't cut down every tree, and, you can't hunt and this and that. And, there's different things that make you liberal or conservative, but if, I would never say to someone I'm liberal, because I don't want them to think, oh, this guy automatically, he's a tree hugging, blah, blah, blah. And, I don't, there is no party that represents what I want. There are different people who represent certain issues, but there's nobody that encompasses everything that I want, what I want my country to be, or what I would like, my ideals on how things work. So it's hard to actually say one thing or the other. And when people, a lot of times people say, I'm conservative, I'm so happy to be conservative because this, and this. For example, when Obama was running, I had a really good friend of mine, and she was one of the sweetest girls ever. I was at her wedding, and just awesome friend. She was putting up on her Facebook stuff about how we shouldn't vote for Obama, not because of his ideals or his policies, but because he was the Antichrist.
Yeah,
because in church and stuff like that, and that blows my mind.
Yeah, I had a nice little lady who wanted to argue with me about whether he was a citizen or not, whether he was born in America, and I let her rant and rave, and finally I told her, I said, sweetheart, it doesn't make any difference. I said, yes, it is a commandment, if you want to put it that way, that you have to be a natural born citizen to be the president of the United States. But the fact of the matter is that I don't question that. I don't question that because there's enough evidence laying around. Now, if you want to be a birther and you wanna argue about that, why don't? And she didn't like his answer, but why don't you read and educate yourself about the real damn issues that are screwing this country into the ground, and form some kind of opinion about something that makes a difference as to whether or not he's black or whether or not he's was born in this country. I said, if he's not born in this country, I guarantee you something would happen. And even today now, you got Chris Matthews, who's an idiot. He has started this whole controversy on the birther thing over. Have you heard the news since you've been gone? He started this whole thing over, and now the governor of Hawaii.
That's 40 days.
Yeah.
He's going to prove it.
He's going to prove it. Leave it alone. It don't make any difference. We've got too many issues that are really important to have to worry about whether Barack Obama, who is halfway through his term, was born in Hawaii. I mean,
and there's people that will hold on to that until the day they die, well after he's been out of office, and he's doing his Jimmy Carter tours around wherever, third world countries, and shaking hands and kissing babies somewhere else.
Yeah, and I mean.